Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Chemda, my episode of Ray DeVito's podcast is up right now. It's called Rock Bottom. That's the name of his show. And my job there was to tell him how to make the podcast better. And I come in a little hot, but I think people will enjoy it.
Oh boy. Did you have like a super hot take where he was like, oh, like blows mine sort of thing?
Yeah, like don't do the podcast on your phone as you're walking to the gyms because it might cut out and then the guests have to keep the show going. That doesn't mean you still have to put the show up, though. You know, that was just one idea. But I've been doing it 17 years. He might not know that.
Sure. Yeah. How would one know?
We had a couple other ideas. Also, some time ago, our episode of Am I the Asshole came out. Sometimes we do these people's shows and they don't tell us or tag us, and then we don't get to brag about jumping up their numbers. So type in your search engine Keith and the Girl and see what other than our show pops up. If it says we're a guest, I want everybody to know what we do. Okay. Today's guest, the fantastic Carrie Gravenson. Hello, Carrie.
Hi, everybody. How are you guys?
I'm good. Not as good as you. We'll get to it, but I see you're coming back from Italy at, I believe, a friend's wedding.
Yes, I went to a destination wedding in Firenze.
All right.
That's Florence for you English speakers.
The pandemic really is over, but we'll talk all about that. Let me mention July 4th is Keith and the Girl Day. I mean, with what's going on, how do you call it a celebration of America? Christian Finnegan pointed out, July 4th this year feels like attending a birthday party for someone in hospice.
Ooh,
that's a good point. So we call it Keith and the Girl Day. Don't forget to wear and share your Keith and the Girl gear, okay? You'll see it at keithandthegirl.com/GEAR. I'm seeing here in New York City, in all the boroughs, legislation is being rolled out by a group of Democratic city council members that would make abortion pills available for free at dozens of health clinics across the 5 boroughs. An effort, of course, directly aimed at the overturning of Roe versus Wade.
Wow. Isn't it funny that we're like, abortion pills, yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Like they turned that into like, free donut day or whatever. I understand, of course, it's way more important than that. But my response to an abortion pill in my head as Keith was reading it was like, you love me. You really, really love me.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Oh, boy.
Like now, and then people hearing this are like, oh, they're just going to have abortion pills like M&Ms when company comes over. I don't know. I don't know how
then
people...
you're going to are you taking extra heart medication because it's that fun? You know what I mean? Like it's something that does something. I don't just pop Advil because it's like, they're free.
Right.
What do they think we're doing with these abortion pills?
In Israel, which of course is, Jerusalem's right there, the birthplace of all these religions, Christianity, Judaism, etc. Even they're saying, whoa, this thing about America, that's too much. These guys cut off half your prick. And they're like, America, Jesus. What's wrong with you? I assume for me.
It's a full half.
They just take a little off the top, but yes.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the one thing about America that's supposed to be great, the right to privacy. Now the police can check women's history to make sure they didn't have abortions or that their miscarriages are up and up. I'm not exaggerating. There's no HIPAA law when it comes to this anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
Wow.
But somehow dick pills are okay. Gee,
yeah.
I wonder why. I wonder if it's a man's world.
We can fund dick pills infinitely. There's all the grant money in the world if your dick can't get hard.
But how will we know you're not just going to be popping dick pills all day?
Well,
how will we know that you will care for your body?
New York State does hand out dick pills in clubs and stuff, Like you just walk in and you're like, my dick won't get hard, and you just get handed pills.
Isn't your limp prick God's will? But we need to fix that,
Right. No. God's will was to give us the pill to fix the limp dick.
So the government now is talking about tracking how men use the pill. No, I'm just kidding. Of course not. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah. The Supreme Court has curbed the Environmental Protection Agency's ability to broadly regulate carbon emissions from existing power plants.
Oh, good. We're really on all the good topics now.
Yes.
Very good.
But they still allow you to recycle in 3 different sections of the same garbage can with the same bag. But let's not worry about the big companies.
Notice.
Yeah.
I get nervous around recycling, even though I know that as far as I understand, in New York, we're just doing the practice of recycling, but they're not really doing anything with it. But they're just like, don't get out of this habit, just separate the things. But you know those let's say the frozen foods that come in that sort of cardboard box, but it has a shiny outside.
Right.
That goes in the other one every other fucking week. Sometimes I go cardboard, sometimes I go plastic. And
this is being recorded, right?
Well, have you seen those? This is what I'm
Allegedly.
talking about. Have you seen those cans in public places where put your cardboard here, there's a circle, put your, plastic here, there's a circle. Look in it. It's one bag.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Wait, sorry, Chemda, I cut you off though. So you just put that box in any old bin? Or...
I'm nervous every time. I'm just like, this week, I think it's cardboard. Like, and in my mind, I go, they can't arrest me because I don't know if it's cardboard or plastic, right? Like, I don't know.
The trick is, can you tear it?
Yeah, but I'm very strong.
Okay, then it... Okay, well, then I don't know.
She'll put a TV remote in there. You don't mess with her.
Can you tear glass?
Am I on my period?
Yeah.
Did my boyfriend ask if I'm on my period?
Uh-oh. Then you can tear glass, yeah.
Stephen Colbert tweeted out, there's enough bad Supreme Court rulings in the last month for a whole new We Didn't Start the Fire.
Ooh.
That's true.
Ooh,
Yes.
That's true.
good.
Under that, I see Kara Wallace said, Amber Heard rates gone, kneel and pray, buy a gun, and road, don't sell it, just buy, and get people drunk and high. Misuse power vaccine, save the kids from drag queens, yell suicidal, bring the posse, go bananas, hate crimes.
Good job.
Yeah, it's cute that the world's falling apart. Did you guys see Rudolph? That's his name, but it's funny. Rudolph Giuliani saying that he was attacked in a store. He said somebody came up behind him, said, "Hey, shithead," smacked him in the back so hard he stumbled, almost fell down, cracked his head, and died, he says.
That's right.
And Chemda just saw the video. Would you agree, Chemda, that maybe you're not supposed to touch another man, but he didn't move from this slap?
I will
On his
agree
back.
that the guy who slapped him is absolutely wrong, and you're allowed to feel a way about that.
Right.
It wasn't a friendly slap. It wasn't a punch. Rudy Giuliani did not move, did not even like almost like, oh shit, it took me so by surprise that I got off balance. He did
Right.
not get off balance. However, I would have taken that as a threat. I'm not off balance. You didn't actually, bruise me or whatever. Like I didn't almost die.
Sure.
But don't touch me.
Yes. But it is funny that you said that you almost hit your head because there's witnesses. I'm like, well, aren't we going to ask the witnesses?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have to. We saw the camera footage. And even right-wing interviewers are like, I saw it, not for nothing. What?
Yeah.
Well, for a lawyer, he forgets how much surveillance there is, how the law, like this is what I think. He must have gotten away with so much hearsay type shit where he can go, I almost fell down on the ground. And then, proceedings continue in that manner. Now it's like, fuck you, we're checking surveillance tape. But I think you're such a bad lawyer when you don't even consider there is one. Or you got away with so much that you can say things like
Right.
that. I almost fell over. I almost knocked my head. And usually people will back you up and go, I was there. Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah.
So he sued the guy. The guy was charged with second-degree assault, and then they saw the tape and said, okay, third-degree assault and
Third
harassment.
degree. I know. Harassment.
Okay.
I agree. Don't touch anyone, but it was not that hard. I read the news article before I saw the footage, like a day or two before. And then the footage made it so hilarious.
For
That's
the record,
the thing. If it's in reverse, but the thing is if we saw that first, that is harassment. You can't just hit someone. It
Well,
doesn't matter if it's a tap.
third degree is like me reading this article is third-degree assault. Just so just to put things into perspective. I'm starting to think Rudy's a little liar. I'm starting to think.
He's a little fragile. He's a little fragile.
Right. Exciting news we didn't get to, though. R. Kelly has been sentenced to 30 years. You don't want too much. That's still a lot. 30 years in prison for federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges.
Can
30.
you remind us like a highlight of what he did?
Children after children after children that he rapes
multiple children
in his house, doesn't let people leave.
Yeah.
Picks
And
them
then-
up, picks these kids up at McDonald's, no exaggeration.
And then wicked racketeering.
And what is racketeering?
Illegal money stuff.
Mm.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm afraid to watch these documentaries about these things because I started watching the Epstein one and like, maybe 2 episodes in, I'm like, I get it.
You get the point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I fucking get it. And
It's not a revelation when you start with all these girls. You know,
but
like, okay.
It's one of those things. Like, this is the reason why I don't really watch a lot of action movies. It's such a horror films. Like, these images in my brain are very, very difficult. But just certain descriptions of what they would do. It's awkward.
It's that bad too. Like, if you couldn't stomach the Epstein one, you can't. It's as bad, if not worse. I think the R. Kelly one
should though. But
who says not life to you're raping underage kids? Who says 30 years?
I think it was because
they
couldn't get him on those charges, like they had to give him the maximum for like racketeering rather than like the minimum for like 19 child rapes,
How about 1 child rape?
I don't know that they could convict. Did they
Now I got to watch another movie.
Now Great. I got to catch up on this one.
Well, I do have fun news for me before we take a week off over here. I got my license, Chemda. I've been having a time.
Wait, your actual license?
No, ID, and that's plenty for me right now.
Okay.
I let my driver's license expire over COVID, and then I'm finally paying attention, and I'm trying to pay some speeding ticket that was not in the city, so that's a to-do. These hicks don't pick up their phone. I can say that now. Fuck them. And and I don't have the ID proof that most people have. I don't have a pay stub. I don't have the electricity in my name. It's in my landlord's name. Just different goofy shit. And finally, it was able to work. Meanwhile, like I said the other day, I'm showing credit cards. I'm showing all this stuff. And they're like, that's not enough proof. And I'm like, then call the police because I stole old Keith Malley's shit. Okay? We got a problem over here. I call the IRS. They seem to believe it's me.
Doesn't your tax return have your address on it?
There's one. I just need 18,000 more proofs of purchase, Carrie, but thank you.
All right. But you could have lived off. So basically, you'd been living off the grid, like as a ghost person for years.
I could have got away with murder.
The IRS finds you just
Yeah, that's right. That's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't have to prove it. Right.
They're like, you don't have ID? Pay Keith Malley's shit and take a chance.
Yeah.
I have an old marijuana card. They're like, oh, we don't accept that. And I'm like, but there's a logo on it, and it's the logo on your shirt. Does it matter? I said that. I didn't say it condescendingly, but I'm with that smile, but it looks like I'm ready to cry. Like, but it is on your shirt. Is that a thing? It's not a thing.
That's amazing.
It turns out. You know what saved the day? I mean, this woman was nice. She went through my phone. She's looking different proof of things she can find. I'm like, here's a vote. We're looking at all different kind of stuff. But what saved the day that I happened to bring, of all things,
she took over your identity for a minute.
Yes, and it worked.
Worked out all the situations and then gave it back to you like a nice person.
Yes, she goes, I just took over your identity, and I believe me. And then she hit F2 and gave back my identity.
Checkmate.
Yeah. Here's what saved the day. My divorce papers.
Oh.
For some reason, my marriage certificate didn't count. The divorce papers did. Okay. I didn't even ask why. I'm not pushing it.
That's a metaphor, if ever.
I called Kat and thanked her.
You don't exist until you get divorced.
Right.
And then because when you're married, you're a half a person. And when you're divorced, you become a whole person.
Again.
And therefore your identity is renewed to you.
But you know what? Also, this just like in the US, it just kind of extra solidifies anyone can get married for now.
Right.
For now, we hear you. Supreme Court.
Right. Anyone can get married. Try getting divorced. Right.
You can't be drunk for that.
Right. You need proper identification to get divorced.
Yes.
It's really funny. You're right.
Yes, you do. And then you know what sucks from after that on? You could never be single. Everything that you do, you have to click the divorce thing. You can't just be like, I'm dating now. No, it has to be I'm divorced status for the rest of your life unless you get married again.
Now, the secret, of course, to get these people to help you in line is to remember to stare more. Just stare. You've seen it done to yourself, right? You're like, the answer is no, sir. And they just wait there. And they wait until the answer is yes. try to be one of these idiots because it really does. Now I'm starting to think these people aren't just morons that stare. Maybe they're geniuses.
I see.
You
It's a
stare
tactic.
and you act like you're ready to cry, and that'll be easy. That'll come easy to you.
Yeah. Usually
You'll
I
see in your eyes.
do cry all the time.
At the DMV. Yeah.
At the DMV, at the Apple store. Like, it's just, it gets things done.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something about staring, though, Keith. When you
Yes.
were doing it, did you happen to be wearing a face mask?
No.
I find intimidation staring is easier when I'm wearing a face mask. I feel like the lower half of my face will give away fear. And then the top half of my face is like lasered.
I do a lot of emoting with my lips. Like,
You're
oh, God, biting the bottom. Like, I can't go home. My wife's going to beat me if I don't get this done. You got to express that with your lips.
I see. Okay.
I use my full face to manipulate.
I got you.
He doesn't just smize. You know,
Right,
there's
right.
like somehow more action going on in his staring.
So many times it was understood that I'm just supposed to take all my paperwork and leave. And I'm just like, that can't be the answer. And thank God it wasn't. And
That's like them. I'm sorry. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like well, I'm rewatching Gilmore Girls. So I got it from here. Somebody opens the door and says, "Thanks for coming." It's like, I'm sorry, am I supposed to walk through that door? Oh, you're done with me right now. So you're opening the door.
right.
I'm not going through that door. Now what?
Right.
And right next door.
we had a nice time. Thank you so much for being here. Open the door. It's like, yeah. You sound polite, but you're kicking me out.
Right.
At the very next counter was a big argument. The woman who worked there was saying, sir, and then, he's frustrated because he's not getting any answers about why his ID isn't working. And he goes, well, all due respect, ma'am, sir, ma'am, why aren't you listening? Why are you walking away? How could somebody just walk away from me? And I'm afraid that that's going to somehow poison the well.
Right.
And my person's going to be like, we don't have time for dickhead customers. Get out of here. So my person stopped working, kind of looks over and then said to me, sorry, I'm nosy. And I'm like, please, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, I'm good.
Would you
Right.
like me? Because you have super hearing. Should have been like, would you
Right.
like me to use my super hearing and just write down everything I hear? I'm into that. I'm here for you.
Right. But then it gave you an opportunity to bond with her, and you could be like, I'm
Yeah.
nosy too. We have something in common. Now you want to help me, right?
Right. Ask not what the DMV can do for you.
Right.
I said, we're such assholes, right? And she's like, what? And I'm like, what?
Too far.
That was
But
close.
then by comparison to that guy, maybe you look like the cool, calm, collected, normal person, and she
Right.
was relieved that she wasn't dealing with that guy,
Because she can understand I should be frustrated.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm throwing so much ID, and somehow it's not enough points.
Did you get a new photo taken?
Yes.
Did I miss it?
I just have the paper
the
now.
paper
It'll
thing.
take another 2 weeks
Oh,
before I
right.
hate that photo that last 8 years. They said, do you want it 4 years or 8 years? And I go, well, 8. Why do people take 4? And she goes, I don't know. And I go, I guess they like to come back here. What the fuck?
So weird. Is it
Maybe because the pictures never come out good. And it's like, at least give me another chance in 4
Is
years.
it cheaper to do 4 years? Why would
No,
anyone choose?
no.
What the heck?
No, and by the way, so we get through all this, and then they go, okay, you owe $15. And I'm just thinking, what if I didn't happen to have $15? And now I know Rod brought this up when we were talking to him on the show not too long ago, but I never paid attention to it much because it wasn't about me. But
Fair.
disenfranchised
Right?
people
Honest.
needing, why did disenfranchised people, people that need ID to vote, a lot of disenfranchised people can't get this fucking ID. I couldn't. And I never thought why you shouldn't need ID to vote is so important. And if you ask me, I think this is why. Is that the point people were making all this time?
It's probably part of it.
Yeah. If they haven't been divorced and their landlord pays the heat, they're screwed.
You have 2 weeks to get married and divorced.
Right. And then you have identification.
Right.
Yeah.
So I did the hard part now. Then now I'm able to get my Social Security card. Then with that, I can go and get my driver's permit again and my VA card. So this is the order of everything that needs done. But I'm getting there. The hard part is done.
Well, welcome back to society. I'm
But
so
it's
proud
good
of
to
you.
be here. Now the laws apply to me again. It's nuts.
Did they hand you a bill at the end aside from the $15? It's like, oh, you haven't been a person for 1.5 months. Here's
Right.
what you owe us.
Well,
Right.
she just took the liberty of enrolling me as an organ donor, which I would have been fine with that. But I donate $1 to the Life Pass It On Trust Fund. There's two things here. I didn't agree to it, but okay. But how about I'm giving my organs? You give me the dollar. How about it's $13?
Oh my God. Keith.
Yeah, but you can't
What the
spend
fuck?
it because your organ. You can't spend it because you're dead. Because that's why you're giving organs.
This is one of those moments you're missing the point again.
I guess so.
Also, nobody wants your organs. You got
I tried to tell
you got
her.
them janky organs.
I tried to tell her. You could take the driver's online test. You could take the driver's permit test. You know, the written one online.
Huh?
I just saw.
Oh.
Yeah.
But then you could cheat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could do it on your phone. I can connect my phone to the TV. I can, somebody could be across from me pointing at the ones that are hard. But honestly, none of these questions are hard. You are about to drive after leaving the bar. Do you A, you're pretty good to drive. Drinks go away about a drink an hour. You could do whatever you want. You know how to handle yourself. You actually focus more. C, don't go to the bar in the first place and be the best driver ever. So, yeah, I think I'm going to be okay with this test.
I'm actually taking, one of those classes to lower points or like whatever it is for insurance to be lowered, like just to somehow you're a better person on record. If you take this, it's like a $20 thing. You could do that online also. And they give you a bunch of information and you have to stare at it for a certain amount of time. You could leave your computer, whatever. They don't know. There's a timer. You read this for 20 minutes. And of course, I'm skimming it allegedly. And I'm going like, oh, that's a lot of 30,000 people die of this, 6,000 people die of that. Seatbelts are important, shit like that. And I'm like, well, they can't just ask me all these numbers questions. There's no way I can learn that in 20 minutes and that counts. You go to the next page at some point and you take the test. And they're asking me all these number questions. How many people, get tickets in this county and that thing? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to take a guess. I failed the first one. I'm like, well, they can't keep asking me this. You can take as many as you want. I took another one and it was more filled in with the bullshit questions. It was like, all right. It was like you were saying, Keith.
All right.
Are you all right to drive? Like, should you cross double yellow lines? It's like, no, I shouldn't cross any lines, probably, and I did that. And they're like, you passed. I'm like, well, I must know everything now.
Right. Somebody cut you off in traffic.
Exactly.
Very rudely.
Right.
Personal, as if it was about your mother. Do you A, chase after them until their next exit and confront them? B, scare them with quick, short stop and goes? Or C, hey, I know I've made mistakes myself. It's okay. And pray.
Reflect on yourself and find God.
Right.
It's always that one.
Concealed gun test. When do you take out your gun? Well, the answer is D, never.
Brandish. When do you brandish your gun? Nope. Think about your life. Think about yourself. Right. Find some inner peace.
Find the most passive answer. So maybe that's what it should. So find the most passive answer in the regular ones and then find the highest number in the other ones. Now that I think about it, like how many people die? Well, it's going to be the most. You're trying to scare me.
It's no big deal.
Right. They're not going to scare you with 15. It's got to be 20,000 every day or something. Yeah.
I see. How can I prove, this is online, how can I prove my social security number without a card? The most common documentation for proof of social security number without a card is 1, your social security card. Awesome. Bring that to the social security office and there shouldn't be a problem.
That's brilliant.
I have to go to an office because I want to get this shit done. Me and Chemda got a Keith and the Girl company car. I'd like to be able to drive it. If you do if you do your card online, they have to, it says, please allow 15 to 20 days to receive another authorization code and you continue. Like, well, then thank goodness I live in a place that has somewhere an office.
You're not getting a new number though. You're just getting a new card, right?
Yeah.
So why is that so hard?
Thank you. I like your attitude.
Wow.
You're goddamn right. I was at the bank today. Did the bank stuff. Now that I have some ID, 3-hour ordeal. And tell me about this. If you ever notice this, anytime I need to do something at the bank, I'm the first person who apparently ever done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to do something with a new business bank account. I'm like, what is a business bank account?
Oh my God. I tried to cash in savings bonds at a bank once.
Yeah.
That took days. They'd never seen one. They never heard of it. What country is this from? Like it was mayhem. Like I walked in with like a 7-headed ostrich or something. They were like, what?
I wish that they can pretend a little bit more. Like some business type of decorum. Like, does that mean I have to wear a suit when I go? Like, I'm like, please don't be confused by my hoodie.
Right.
Let's look up my account. I have been with this bank for over a decade. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't do my hair today and I came in on a bike after a helmet. I get it. But at this point, you look around and like rich people are wearing hoodies. I'm not saying, look at my bank account. You'll see I'm rich. Or pay attention to me. But like, I've been doing business with you. I have held business for a reasonable amount of time as an adult. So let's do it. So I wish they would pretend. I wish they would go, oh, this is new in their head. Right. I don't need to know all of you like, oh, well, because I feel like they start narrating their own story to us. It's like, oh, I never did this before. Well, can you?
Yeah, no, they call someone else over. That's when you know you're screwed. When you like hand them something and they're like, and then they're like, Jim, come over here for a second. And then like they point at something out of your field of vision. Like they point at something on the screen you can't see. And then Jim's like, Roger, come over here for a second. And then you're like, oh, now like doctors do that too, where you're like,
I was going to say it's the same as doctor rules. The more doctors they call in to look at your shit, the worse you are.
It's the same thing with banks. Like, I'm like, here's a savings bond that finally, matured. And they're like, we need 15 people to look at this because none of us are over 30. So like we can't.
Right. And what's funny is that the bank will actually send you to the bank. So you'll call up and they're like, oh, this is something you have to do in person. And it's like, can you just alert them that this is something just let them know?
I walk in black tie. Like I walk in like in a gala gown so that they take me seriously.
Yeah, we're doing some with a second business account. My partner set it up. I just need to sign. I wasn't able to sign before because I didn't have up-to-date ID. And they're like, sign what? I'm like, it just needs, I'm sure if you open it up, it should make sense. My account, you just need a signature. And they're like, a signature? Where would you sign? And I'm like, the wall, and then figure it out later.
Like, I don't know, man. You made up these rules. Like, I'm going with your system here. Yeah.
I just came in. I wanted attention and signed something.
Right.
I should be offered a position in their highest office with all these new things
I am wearing a tuxedo, sir.
Yeah.
Don't you see my tuxedo? Open my account immediately. Post haste, Roger and Jim.
Did you get a nice America break when you were in Italy, Carrie?
I did get an America break. I first went to Toronto to test out a North American break.
Okay.
And then I went to Italy to test out another continent.
What do you feel about Canada? It's a whole new world, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just, everyone's chill and not phony chill. Everyone's actual chill.
Well, they got all that weed.
They got all that weed. I went into weed. You guys would be so proud of me.
Wow.
I went to go buy weed the first night, and I went with the friend who knows more about weed. I went with like the Chemda of that group, and she didn't bring her passport, so she wasn't allowed in the store. And she was like, "Don't worry, you can go in alone and just get some weed." So I walk into the weed store alone in another country, and I'm like, one weed, please. Like, I have no idea. They're shouting jargon at me. It was crazy. I walked out with a handful of like microchips. I don't know what happened, but I did it wrong. Everyone was mad at me when we got home. I was
no.
Yeah, everyone was like, this is only 75 hectares of grams. We needed 68 thermos of weed juice. And I was like, then remember your passport next time, because I don't know what to tell you. Like,
in all fairness, you just described me in a liquor store. So, when we used to go meet people for dinner at their house or like, or whatever, you bring something. What do you bring? The easiest thing, you stop by a liquor store, you bring wine, you bring a thing, most likely wine. And I used to try to talk to the shopkeeper person. I'm like, listen, I'm going over here. When really I'm like, I got $20 in my head. Let's go to the $20 shelf. Somebody likes red. California sounds good. I don't fucking know. And nobody's going to be mad at me because at the end of the day, it's still wine. And at the end of the day, it's still weed. I hope.
Yeah. No, I've gone to a liquor store person and I'm like, $20 red, outdoor barbecue. And then
Well,
they hand you a bottle and you walk out of there and you're like, just take this off my plate. Like,
I like that
answer.
you say barbecue. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should be like $20. These people like white wine. They serve steak.
Well,
I'm
sometimes
having macaroni tonight.
I once went into a wine store and I was like, I have $15. We like red and we're watching The Walking Dead. And there was a bottle of wine called, it was like Original Zin. No, it was like Zombie Zin or something.
Okay.
It was perfect. And I showed up with Zombie Zin. I might be making that up, but there was a zombie themed wine that I
That's
would have
funny.
never known about, but I gave that guy very specific instructions. Like
We should all try that. Maybe there's a Negan wine. Who knows?
Right, but I
It
can't
looks
do
like
that
blood.
in the weed store. I'm like, I would like to feel good and not bad and not paranoid and not think that everyone hates me, but still fall asleep and dream nice things and then wake up with no like I don't know how
I
to
feel like you can do that, but maybe not in Italian yet.
Right. Well, that was in Toronto.
Oh,
In Italy, we saw a very mysterious weed vending machine that was unmanned but had cameras pointed at it. And Jake and I just backed out like really slowly. Like
Is it a trick? Yeah. Is
Yeah,
it a
we're
trap?
like, oh, it's a human trap. Like it's an American trap.
Right.
Like we're going to be trafficked. So then he immediately Googled the laws in Italy, and it was very confusing. So we didn't mess.
Don't mess around. Yeah, people. I don't know what FIFA. I don't know what it is. Some kind of big sports matches in like Dubai, and Americans are traveling over there to see it. And I'm like, you better be Googling everything. Can I kiss my girlfriend and not be in jail forever? Definitely at best. Look at your phone a little bit. Yeah, Canada, we've been there with Keith and the girl. It's beautiful, of course. Everybody's nice. I get amazed by the simplest things. They had a hot dog vendor there, and the condiments were all on the side of the customer, the mustard, the relish. And I looked at somebody that's showing us around from Canada, and I'm like, well, what if somebody just comes by and just throws all the condiments all over the place? And they go, well, why would somebody do that? And I'm like, this is some fucking country.
Yeah. They're like, you must be American that even occurred to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you could just help yourself there. Is this the first out of country trip with your boyfriend?
Yes, this is the first time Jake and I have been to an out of country experience.
And how are you guys together on a major trip like this?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'd been to Italy before, so I tried not to be very bossy about what we do since I've already had my bucket list trip there. So I tried to let him sort of dictate, where we spend a day, and like he did great. We did all good stuff. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a tough one sometimes, and you don't realize until you're already on the trip. I feel like a lot of people have gone on these, beautiful dream sort of places. Like I've always wanted to go this, and then you go with a partner that you end up not matching with on vacation, and you break up.
Right. No, we didn't have any major fights. There was a hike that was. It wasn't that the hike was strenuous. It was that it was 1,000 degrees, and I was dying of like sweating. I was just sweating out all of my body fluids, and I thought I was going to die, but I didn't want to admit that because then I'm weak and I'm ruining the trip. So I just like muscled through it. And then at the end, I was like, that was really rough. And Jake was like, wasn't rough for me. And I was like, all right, no, we have to. I was like, me neither. Yeah, I was totally fine losing all my bodily fluids in the
Anyway, I came back alone, and he's at the bottom of a cliff. Did you get good seating at this wedding? I always get table 14. You know that one with the riffraff and the goofballs.
I was with the riffraff and the goofballs. They put
Okay.
me with the teenage boys, you
Oh,
guys.
okay. That's a lot.
Yeah. So
But I saw some pictures, amazing food, amazing drinks, it looks like. All that.
Fireworks.
Yeah, they had pyrotechnics at this wedding that were insane. And when people were like, how was the wedding? I was like, yeah, pyrotechnics. They were budgeted for that. And
Were they good with the music? I just saw a video online that's going viral where a man's marrying his wife, or they're at the reception, they already got married. She happens to be in a wheelchair. The DJ happens to play that song, When Your Legs Don't Quite Work Like They Used to.
Oh, damn.
You know, that's not, everybody can't help it. They're like, oh, like making it worse, you know.
No sense of irony. Wow.
I'll be loving you forever, no matter what, even when you're real old and your legs don't work.
I went to a wedding where they had a live band, which was awesome. And the first song that the live band played was Bad Romance by Lady Gaga.
Oh, okay.
Which
Like
I
your
thought
poison,
was
your
an
disease.
Yeah, I was like, I know. I was like, that's an odd choice for like out of the gate, you know, like
I don't want to be friends.
I don't want to be friends. Yeah. I mean, they covered it wonderfully, but still, why that one song?
Probably because somebody likes the way their voice sounds singing it, and that's it.
Yeah, but then put that second.
Right.
Or like save that for the end. I don't know. Just interesting.
You're a thoughtful gift giver. What'd you give? Money or something clever?
When you go to a destination wedding, your gift is paying $1,000 billion to get there. So technically, for a destination wedding, yeah, you show them your like the headphones from the airline. You know,
I got my ID.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't get them anything because it was a destination. But I think when I do see them here in stateside, we'll probably get them dinner or something.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Is it gonna last, these guys?
I think so.
Okay.
They're really friggin' cute. Oh my God, they're so cute.
Better be cute on their wedding day. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever see somebody gorgeous, then you see there was somebody else that's gorgeous, and you're like, well, of course, that's
yeah.
What world is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them. Did you give a speech of any kind? How close to you are these people? I guess not if you're at table 14, right?
I did not give a speech, which was such a relief because I feel like I always like spend half the wedding dreading it, you know, and then the other half like getting drunk relieved from it. So I didn't have that. No, I was not in the top tier friends. I think I was in second tier friends. So all of the first tier friends and family, they gave speeches that were pretty good, or at least unterrible.
My wife was shy, and she didn't want us to even make our own vows. She wanted to be simple and and have my brother read the normal stuff, and we'd just go, yeah, sure. And we weren't even going to give speeches. And then last minute, she goes, you know what? After all, it seems like it's the normal thing. Give a speech. I'm like, that's not how this works.
Oh my God! Yeah, Caitlin,
I make some joke about my father-in-law that like I remember, we're in Ireland and I'm getting into the car. He's about to drive, but I don't think about the steering wheel, and so I got into the steering wheel seat, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Turns out you should have just gave me your car." And then I'm like, maybe that was too much. I didn't have time to prepare.
That's Caitlin Bailey sprung that on me like 2 days before her wedding. She was like, "Can you give a speech at the rehearsal dinner?" And I was like, "Okay." Because like a gig's a gig, you know what I mean? Right. And then I wrote it on the drive down. Like,
you know what? Oh God, I gotta confess that I was the dick at my wedding because I just figure the people closer to you, they'll probably want to say something. And I put two people on the spot the day before, like, and you guys are going to say something, right? And they were like, what? Like, but you want to say something, no?
But at least the day before, I was at the table. Like, hey, think of something clever after all. And think of my 7 friends specifically that flew out here. Like,
what is marriage? You just start.
Webster's Dictionary defines.
Exactly. When Wikipedia defines marriage.
Right.
Yeah. I think if I ever get married again, it's going to be as alone as possible. I don't think that I enjoy it as entertainment. And I think that's all it is. You're going to a show. First part of the show is, like going down the aisle and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like it ends up being, I did not feel, now I was sincerely getting married, but I didn't feel sincere and present because I'm wondering if the people are comfortable. I'm wondering, how hot is it? Like all this stuff, like the photographers, people have their phones out, like all this shit. And I'm trying to be present. I can't really hear what's happening. All I know is like, yeah, of course I'm agreeing to this. Whatever you just said, I'm agreeing. So I feel like it's a more personal choice, like getting divorced. If I could invite everybody to my divorce, that would be different. But if I'm, let's not invite anybody to the divorce or the wedding.
So no parties ever is what you're saying.
No, parties for sure.
No
parties
gatherings.
For sure. But like, there's so much of this like now we do this and then what do we call
Yeah,
it?
the pressure, the logistics
and even though I thought I was getting away from the logistics, I was doing a destination wedding that I didn't expect anybody to fly out to. It's way too much. And I was barefoot, so I didn't have to look for, shoes. I didn't have the maids of honor or whatever, but there's always like that thing. And I don't know that that's what I feel as a wedding, but I'll come to yours because I think they're so fun.
Yeah,
everything's
you
taken care
to
of.
judge every little detail, because like that every little detail was somebody's choice. So you get to be like, oh my God, they chose to have green olives instead of black. I wonder what that choice was like. And like, I don't know, this one had every detail down to the little tray of toiletries outside the bathrooms. Had like 90 things on. It was like a tiny bodega on a tray.
Like COVID tests and masks and hand sanitizer.
Yes.
A cat,
right. A cute kitten to calm you down if you were having anxiety. Yeah.
Do people hug at weddings now? Because like I said, I was at the bank, but it's still a little interesting to me that I don't shake hands.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hug anyone.
Okay.
And in Italy, you're supposed to like make out upon meeting someone.
Right.
And like, I just didn't. I was just a standoffish American.
It is weird. Yeah. Going to official places and go, good sir.
Yeah.
Right,
Thank you.
right.
We had a fun conversation. Thank you.
Right. Just give a salute.
That's
Peace
right.
sign.
I remember my wedding, the mother-in-law last minute said, I want to read a speech at the wedding, which is fine, but we would have had a microphone for you. And so she's like, so she's like, and my daughter. And then I go, she never thought she'd have such an amazing daughter. Everybody's laughing, but it's like, you could have told us. We would have done something. And such an amazing thing. And she's impressed by me, too, that she met me.
And she guarantees me $100,000 if I make it through the end of tonight. You all heard it, right? Y'all heard that?
Right.
I heard it. Yeah.
Do you have any plans for? I mean, you just had your big vacation during this. Now that we have the American holiday coming up, do you have any plans for that, or are you just taking it easy?
I'm taking it easy breezy. I even offered to work on that day for a client was trying to. I'm still a professional organizer.
Right. That's how me and Carrie met. True
That's
story.
how we met. And I was like, yeah, I can do Monday. And they were like, but it's July 4th. And I'm like, yeah, but not till the night. Like, I don't like,
Right.
I don't know. Like if I'm watching fireworks or something or going to a barbecue, like that can happen in the evening. But so anyway, no plans on the 4th. Why are you inviting me to, it's keeping the girl day. So I have to I have to get the nipple pasties out, right?
Of course. Well, I'm seeing that there's a vegan burger that they're bragging tastes like human flesh. Now that's a party to me. Now we're talking.
I didn't know if you were about to do a sponsor.
It's funny you say. Swedish plant-based food. Listen to this, folks. It's healthy. It's vegetables. They taste like human flesh, and I guess you have to believe them.
Is that like biting your cuticles? Like that kind of flesh? What's happening?
I mean, who knows? How do you know?
Who
You
does
don't ask
know?
questions.
You should be put on a list if you know.
I think so.
Yeah, how do they know?
The whole
So
thing's
people are
amazing.
just going to buy it to find out?
I would.
I mean, I would too, but I would also.
Oh, there you go. Who are these people?
No, who are the
keeping me.
people? Who are the people who are confirming that this tastes like human flesh? How do you know that part?
Well, figuring out food is amazing to me, period. Like, you have frog raw, right? Where you take the duck, you bury it, and you shove shit in the duck's food. They had to do this to every animal just to see. They had to do it to a cow and a wolf. And they're like, honestly, it only works with the duck, it seems.
And for the record, they're not shoving stuff into the food. Of course, Keith meant they're shoving food down its gullet.
Yeah, into the duck's mouth, yeah.
Into the duck's throat.
To
The whole
fatten
thing's-
up its liver.
It's amazing to me that when people figured out stuff in the first place anyway. Even if it's
Right.
Adam and Eve. Who's the first person that went, you know what, I'm going to put food in this hole in my face and see what happens. I'm alive. I think I'm stronger.
You know, we had
Like,
to figure all of this out.
yeah,
I
they
know.
tried the asshole too, and they're like, well, that doesn't. Of
If
course
you
they
cook it-
did.
If you cook it right.
Guess what they did? Guess what they tried with dick holes before they figured out you just
Oh.
pee. Yeah.
Did they try to eat them?
Guess.
I don't know.
I mean, I love a good fried dick hole. I mean, it tastes like human meat. You know what? That's where they knew. That's how they found out.
Do you have plans,
All
Chemda?
the circumcisions.
Yeah.
Oh,
fried
where
it
do they
up.
go? You just fry them up.
You don't waste anything.
Have you
Okay.
been to Israel? I mean,
Calamari, and then they went, let's use octopus. Fuck.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
Yeah, think about it.
that's so visual.
I don't want to think about
It's
it.
so, oh, wow.
I do have plans. I have plans for next week. I have plans for Monday. Okay. We're going to try something out. Now, July 4th, I usually hide just like every other holiday. It's too many people.
You and dogs, right? All the fireworks.
Well, no, I love the fireworks.
Okay.
I really do love it. But in New York, if you could see the fireworks from the one area, there's always like, sometimes it's by us and there's just cars looking for parking. We're a mile away from the water. Cars looking for parking as far as here. They're circling the block. They're honking. They're so angry. The holidays here, they're not good in New York City. That's why everybody leaves. There's more room, all that kind of stuff. But this year I'm trying. We are going to the beach. Now, what a stupid idea, right? Everyone's going to the beach.
Okay.
We're going to wake up super early. We asked at the beach, when does this fill up by? Fills up by 9 a.m.
Okay.
We're going to try to get there before 9. Set up a small tent so that we can stay there all day into potentially, because it's Long Island, you're probably going to see some fireworks. Huh? Pack a
Wow.
lunch,
Okay.
a dinner.
And this is on Monday. This is July 4th. You were doing.
Yes. This is an
Okay.
experiment to go ahead of people, to take up a bunch of space, go down. Here you park somewhere, and then everyone, of course, is at the beach right in front of where the parking is. You walk down a little bit, you set up where normally people aren't, and hopefully, you look at me like I'm crazy.
Are there confirmed fireworks at this beach? Like, do you
No.
have intel on that? So you're just
No, but the
you're
sky
hoping-
is right there.
So you're
It's
hoping
Long
to
Island.
wait. You're hoping to wait 16 hours on the chance. You're
No,
going to wait in
okay.
a tent in the sun for 16 hours, hoping there might be fireworks that
I
night.
see what you're saying, but no, we're not waiting. We're at the beach all day. That's like
Right?
my
No, that's
heaven.
fine. That's heaven. I agree.
Yeah. So all it is heaven all day. Maybe fireworks at night. Maybe we drive home. Whatever.
Okay.
I know. I feel like I got the same look from Xerxes, and I should look into if he really wants to do this.
I think driving anywhere. I think the Long Island Expressway on July 4th is to be avoided, especially if you hate people and noise and cars and crowds.
Totally see what you're saying. What I'm hoping is all the Long Island Hamptons people are heading out today.
Right.
And then the rest of the scragglers will think like I do normally, which is, why are you going outside? Guys, we're doing an experiment.
There's a lot of
Okay.
pressure. I feel pressure. Like, you always want your partner
Yeah.
to be excited about an adventure, but I'd be nervous already.
I get it. And this is not Xerxes' idea. This is totally my idea. I like the whole beach bum idea all day. We're bringing edibles. We're bringing weed. We got the water. We got ourselves and each other, some privacy in the tent. So maybe it'll be fun. Maybe we go for a walk,
Ooh,
or
let's start with that.
or around 4:00 we go, I think I had enough. We go home. That's okay.
Yeah, you can
Everyone's-
change. You can change
You
it
could
as
change
it
your mind.
goes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We can have
Yeah.
ice cream.
Yes.
Change your mind whenever you want. And then Tuesday, I'm going by myself camping just to
Awesome.
clear my brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you were just with them all fucking day. Yeah.
I know it's like it's a tough decision to make because it's time off together, and it's like, well, don't you want to spend time together? But I also need this alone time.
Has he been good with that? Was that hard to say? I know myself and I need alone time, and it could mean go camping alone.
I think it's fine. It's going okay. I
Because that was
get
a
it.
precedent before you guys got together, right?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It was like he knew me to go on these
Yeah.
trips.
You didn't like spring that on him one day when you were like, "Oh, you're uninvited. I need this alone."
Yeah, I always need this. I always have needed this. Well, not in my 20s. I couldn't be alone for 5 minutes. But now there's something about this where I need it. But I could see why people would think it's far away. But if you start looking around, I think people are starting to understand how much like alone time, especially people in New York, it's so important. You just need to like have a thought and just go with that.
Yeah.
My plan that we have, so if we have a week off, I think I'll see that Elvis movie. Looks like that takes about a week. 2 hours, 39 minutes, this Elvis movie.
Jeez Louise.
Died so young.
I think
story is there?
I think you watch Priscilla grow up in real time. You get to see her be an adult.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
You know what this is? It's because Elvis is such a fixture in our culture, in the US culture, that I think people would watch a 4-hour movie about him.
There's
Like,
a
it's
4-hour
like
cut of
Marilyn
it
Monroe.
on Blu-ray coming out. No joke. Funny you say that.
4-hour
People are-
cut of an Elvis movie.
People are obsessed with Elvis.
I would say Elvis is in my top 10. But still, with that said,
Of what
2 hours,
music?
40
I've never heard you play any Elvis music.
no, of military skill.
He's in your top 10?
I'd say so.
He's in my top 10 for human flesh taste.
I see the Doctor Strange movie is now on Disney Plus, the latest one that, of course, I think it's still in theaters also. It's kind of strange to me that I know he studied the mystical arts, but he also apparently is a ninja of some kind. Xenogears, a listener, he says, my question is, if Doctor Strange is a surgeon, why doesn't he pack a few of those super sharp surgical blades and go to town on folks when he's doing combat in close quarters? That's a good point. These superheroes are always in fights. Luckily, they're all ninjas, no matter what their power.
You could donate organs, too. Not only do you kill the bad guy, but you could donate organs if you're already a surgeon.
Save the heart. As the movie goes on, his sack gets bigger.
Yeah.
He
It's
carries
just
around.
filled with like that cooler with human organs in it. Just kidneys and livers.
Right. Now, you might remember this from your permit test, but I believe July 4th is the biggest drunk driving day probably of all time.
Oh.
I'm gonna guess. So remember, everybody, behave. The life you save will probably be mine. You've seen me out there walking around not knowing what direction I'm going. This way. No, this way. No, this way. You got to be extra alert for people like me. And you're the one who's going to get in trouble. Okay? So be
Shit,
careful.
I didn't think of that. That's true. That's another reason to stay home for these holidays. But I'm going out. I'm going to grab my Keith and the Girl gear.
A mayor in Australia is facing mounting calls for her resignation after she drunkenly crashed her car just 1 hour after meeting with families of drunk driving victims.
Wow.
Well, that's bummer news. I hear you. I get you.
Yeah.
You want to forget. Mayor Karen Williams of Redland, just outside of Brisbane, apologized for her behavior, admitting she was having, quote, several drinks. Nobody was hurt in the crash, although the mayor's reputation did suffer a bit.
Wow.
Yeah, so careful out there.
That's like when you're giving the gun safety lesson and then you shoot yourself.
Yes.
It's like that same energy where you're like, wow, you got to really think these things through, ma'am, sir.
I've seen more than one of those where the cop
Yeah.
is in a classroom of
Yeah.
kids, shoots himself in the foot, then tries to play it cool, like, you see how dangerous it can be?
Right.
Okay, so I think you get the point. I'm going to go now.
Yeah.
If you like this episode, do me a favor. Share it. Share this show. That's the whole secret. It's been the key for 17 years. Click a button, okay? And Monday, July 4th, like we said, Keith and the Girl Day. We look forward to seeing your pictures. You want to follow Carrie online, of course, under Carrie Gravenson, right? I don't think I'm lying over here.
That's it. And it's at both Instagram and Twitter.
And the name of your album, of course, is Cry Through It, and I sincerely think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it. Have a great week.